Hi, this is Martin Ledford. I'm here with Bill McCoy. Bill has won our Seniors Bass Club Championship for the past 2 years, 2014, 2015. He's been the Angler of the Year. We're kind of going to go through he's going to go through some stuff that he does in preparation for fishing a tournament, and also tell you a little bit about the baits and stuff that he's used that's made him successful.
I want to thank you, Martin, for having me here today. Guys, what I want to do is kind of walk you through some basic things that I do in preparation to go to a tournament. And I'm going to start with the boat today to give you a little general idea of making sure that nothing happens on the road, obviously running out of any fuel, flat tires, etc. So I'm going to take a moment to just kind of walk you through my boat. This is an old boat. It's 21-foot Triton. I've had it since 1999. I've tried to take care of it, and in turn it's taken care of me. And I think it's very important to keep your boat up and stay on top of any type of maintenance. We'll start at the back here and kind of walk you through the process that I go through. Always check for is always to make sure my straps are in place, make sure my motor is well secured, no vibration going down the road. Of course, that'll tear on the transom and all. Another thing I do, a lot of times your bilge pump does not get all the water out of your boat. So on rainy days or where I know I've got a lot of water accumulated at the bottom of the boat, I'll normally take my plug out. But the thing that I do is, and you buy these at Walmart or anywhere, I take this little cone here and put it right here at the floor next to my boat, the back of the boat, as a reminder that I've taken the plug out of the boat. So I'll make sure I put it in prior to departure for the next day. That's very important. I walk to the back side of the boat. I check all my cables down here, my batteries, to make sure they're secure. Make sure that my reserve tank for my oil is at least 3/4 full. You definitely don't want your buzzer coming on. So I always check that, and I keep my oil supply down in the floor here, and I'll fill it up. One of the things that over the years I've noticed is the additional weight that applies to a boat. This particular boat here holds 52 gallons of gas. In a normal tournament, obviously you're not going to burn 52 gallons of gas. So what I try to do is keep about half a tank of gas in here, because a gallon of gas weighs about 6 pounds. And if you start doing the math and everything, you'll see all the extra weight that you're putting on the back of the boat by having it full. So I run about a half a tank of gas in every tournament. Equally as important is what's in your live wells as far as the water is concerned. A gallon of water, I think, is roughly 8 pounds. So if you start thinking that from a logical standpoint, and you're keeping your live wells full, both of them, then you're adding additional weight onto your boat, which in essence causes a lot of stress on your boat going down the road, and also it affects your fuel mileage on your truck. So to minimize all of that, I try to stay consistent on that. As I walk around, I do some visual checks. I look down at my lug nuts to kind of make sure they're intact. I hadn't lost any of my grease out of my bearings. And then I walk on around a little bit, check on my electronics. And one of the things you'll find out through vibration, either on the water or on the road, is your knobs become loose at times. So I always check my knobs on my electronics to make sure they're secure. And that's very important. I also reach down after I turn my batteries on back there, and I hit my starter to make sure my starter will turn over the next morning, hopefully. As I go on through the boat, I always make sure my net is over here on the right-hand side, because obviously you don't want to forget about your net. So I'll always take my net, secure it inside the boat to make sure it's in the boat prior to departure the next morning. As I walk up towards the front, I basically do the same thing, checking the little knobs here on the Lowrance depth finder, make sure it's secure. I look down, and one of the things we have a tendency to overlook sometimes is our spare tire. I think it's of vital importance to make sure you got at least 40 to 50 pounds in that spare tire at all times, and also to make sure it's secure. So I actually reach down a lot of times to shake the tire, and a lot of times I'll gauge the tire to make sure I got sufficient amount of air in the tire. Okay. One of the things, if you're shallow water fishing like myself, you want to secure or make sure that your transducer here does not hit the rocks and get into a lot of debris, stumps and stuff. So I've actually applied a little block here, this little piece of aluminum here, that blocks anything coming along the lower part of the lake. So what I do is always add, this is a good thing to add this little piece of aluminum here as a blockade for your transducer to eliminate any interference of destroying or tearing up your transducer. The other thing, this is something I just bought this past year, but it works great. It's a little lug nut, for better words, that you take an old nut off there and secure this by just tightening it on here. What this does, it takes anywhere from 20 to 30% of the vibration out of your trolling motor, and it also cuts through the grass a lot better when you get up shallow. That's a very nice addition. It runs about $35 to $40. One of the things I do is just double check to make sure the trolling motor is down and it's not having slop in it, because you don't want that thing bouncing up and down going down the road, so I double check that. Another thing that I found to be very useful is this little piece of Velcro that you can buy at Walmart, or you can actually buy it at Lowe's. But it's a commercial grade of Velcro. And I've got a piece located down here at the front of the motor to where when I disengage it, I stick it on there to where it stays in place. I don't have to be, reached over the side of the boat to try to find my cable. And then when I get ready to go down the lake, I just come back up here and stick it on right there, and it's always stays in place, so I don't have to be looking for it.
Perfect.
There's no slop.